Alright guys, are you ready? Are you ready for this? I am ready for this. This is the official Lesion trailer. First reaction, CatmasterOP. We're all falling from the chair here. Welcome YouTube, welcome all the happy people. Let's check DDoS leak.
In the heat of battle, a
serious
single
voice.
moment may fill an eternity. And in the blink of an eye, an eternity passes, and the battle is won or lost.
Wait, time, stop. Something. That looks like Cyclone. Ground Slam is a lot wider. That was Swipe. Fleet. Lightning Strike. What?
We know not.
No, not like this. Okay. Sorry.
We know not why we fight.
We know only that we must. We are the damned. We are Legion!
Okay. Pretty.
In the Legion League, you'll discover timeless.
Wait. So this is all pretty non-telling. So I'm actually really curious to hear the explanation. That's all I wanted to say.
In the Legion League, you'll discover timeless monoliths. When activated, they reveal a frozen battle between two armies from Rayclast's past. Break open the monsters and chests with the most valuable rewards before the time runs out. Be careful which monsters you free, as the most rewarding are also the most dangerous. Journey to the domain of timeless conflict, where the eternal battle between the legions and their generals rages.
Pathofexile Legion also contains an extensive rework of melee combat. We've made all movement skills start instantly, added animation cancelling, made all skills draw their ranges correctly.
Animation wait. Animation cancelling? All movement skills start instantly, so no awkward leap and awkward delay before leap slam or shield charge or whatever.
Movement skills start instantly, added animation cancelling, made all skills draw their ranges correctly, changed all melee skills to be able to hit multiple adjacent enemies, and fixed up damage timing, ranges, and shapes across all attacks. Instant speed movement and defensive skills now let you respond to incoming attacks effectively. We've also overhauled the animation system to support chaining attacks together and better attack signaling. And we've also improved targeting, attack queuing, and hit feedback. In addition, we've extensively rebalanced all melee skills, melee ascendancy classes, added more defensive options for melee, removed the cap on chance to hit, and have made mechanical changes to certain skills like Cyclone, which is now a channeled skill. With all the melee combat improvements, we wanted players to be able to respond to monster attacks more easily. So we decided to rebalance many older monster skills, improving their signaling and giving the player the ability to dodge their attacks. You can check out Pathofexile Legion on June the 7th.
I mean, animation cancelling is just huge. But they've not been giving us a whole lot of info. Let's see what we can get out of this. Let's see. Let us see. Okay. We got a little bit more than 2 weeks, guys. Trapped for thousands of years in the domain of timeless conflict, the mightiest military leaders of Wraeclast's history have been fighting an eternal war. You will free their legions from the endless battle and defeat them in combat to earn their valuable rewards. New league, new items, new gems, game-wide overhaul of melee combat, and much, much more. So in the trailer they didn't say that much about the league, so I figure that they talk more about the league here and less about the mechanics. I mean, less about the melee combat mechanics. The music is still pretty loud, right? It's, Okay, as you explore Wraeclast, you'll discover monoliths. Tag these to reveal an ancient conflict, and then untether monsters by dealing damage to them. Powerful, drop valuable items, blah blah blah. We've seen that. It definitely looks cool. I can't see that much visual difference between the different monsters, so I'm not sure how well it's indicated what is more rewarding. But, I mean, we'll have to see and play it. Enemies from each of the 5 legions drop splinters. Okay, 5 legions, so like 5 legions, like 5 reach lords, right? So we got 1 lightning, cold, fire, 1 chaos, and 1 physical legion, I would assume. 2 or more emblems from different legions in a map device to gain access to the domain of timeless conflict, eternal battle. Oh, right, so you get emblems, and you can put these emblems into the map device, and you have to put at least 2 in order to open a conflict. Unlock the upgraded map device in order to fight the ultimate conflict between all 5 legions. Oh! Upgraded map device for 5 pieces. Pog champ. So we can put all the fragments in and get 20% quant now. Upgraded map device with 5 slots. That's pretty ooh. Beautiful lady. That looks like graphic design. That's a little taste of 4.0 there. It's probably how the witch will look. These splinters are, yeah, like breach splinters. So 50 splinters will weigh 1 emblem. Sounds good. Already hyped. Like, I like the agency and the, you know, it's like a breach Lord's Domain and like a breach stone, but not exactly, because you can combine it, so there's more variable, like you can, there's not only 5 breach lords domains, but there's like, you know, you can combine 2 or more emblems, so there's like a bunch of different combinations, I'd say. Like a lot. It's pretty pog. Legion item rewards. Some Legion monsters display symbols of indicating the specific items they drop. So this is obviously a currency Legion monster here. Skilled players will focus on freeing the monsters that maximize the type of rewards they're seeking. Certain monsters can drop incubation items which modify a piece of equipment to guarantee a certain reward after you've killed a specific number of monsters. Okay. Incubating unique weapon. 814 out of 2000, level 68 plus monster kills. Okay. Why is this Namahus linked? What is this? What is that troll, by the way, guys? Why is that fucking linked? Incubating Harbinger item. Adds an incubated Harbinger item to an equipable item. Item drops after killing so and so many. Divination card, currency item. Okay. But can you have more than one per item? It looks like you can only put one on an item. So you put these incubators that you get from certain monsters in the legions, right? And you can put them on an item. It's basically like bound to the item now, and you have to keep the item equipped in order to get the reward after so and so many kills. You can see that being interesting when you find a good upgrade and you're like, yeah, basically I should change it now, but then if I change it, then I don't get my incubated item, and okay. The Legion Jewels, okay. This looks like it's gonna be OP, but from each of the 5 legions, it's possible to earn a special unique jewel that can be socketed into your passive tree. Each of the 5 jewels modify nearby passive skills in different ways, providing completely new character customization options if you're skilled enough to acquire one. Skilled. Skill, guys. Skill. Glorious Vanity, Timeless Jewel. Bathed in the blood of 5,173 sacrificed in the name of Doriani. Passives in Radius are conquered by the Val Historic. Wait? What? They might have just let it unannounced. Like, what is this? Passives and radius are conquered by the Val. What is it? I don't. What is this supposed to say? What does it do? Nice one. GGG, nice. They believed themselves the pinnacle of civilization, but that height toppled their empire. Can you hover on it? Well, that's what I did here. I mean, you can't hover here. This is just a screenshot, like a background graphic. Well, that's very interesting. And apparently you need to be skilled. This has nothing to do with RNG. You need to be skilled enough to get one. Let's see. Melee combat revamp. We've addressed most of the core issues with melee combat in Pathofexile. You can now cancel attack animations after they deal their damage. Movement skills are now all instant, and new low-level movement skills have been added for many classes. All melee attacks can now hit multiple adjacent enemies. So built-in melee splash for everything. Animation system has been overhauled. Monster targeting rules improved, and accuracy no longer capped at 95%. There are more changes to melee combat than possible to list here, but changes plus a rebalance create an entirely new combat experience. Okay, sounds good. New built archetypes. The new Blood and Sand Gladiator archetype can switch between Blood Stance and Sand Stance, dynamically modifying the function of new and existing skills. So Gladiator gets a rework, apparently. New Rage Berserker archetype revamps the rage system and introduces new skills that generate or consume rage. So it's Gladiator and Berserker that get the reworks. Not Raider. Dance game. These powerful archetypes and their new skills offer additional options for many other Pathofexile builds. Blood/Sand skills. 2 new reservation effects let you switch between blood and sand stances. New and reworked skills have different behavior in each stance, like Blade Storm, which causes bleeding blade storms and blood stance, and blinding sandstorms and sand stand. Okay. Bleeding blood storms. So it's a storm of blood that makes you bleed? Sounds legit. Defensive and mobility skills. Dash and Steel Skin let you instantly respond to dangerous enemy attacks by avoiding them or protecting you from damage. Okay, sounds OP. Rage. 2 new attack skills will let you easily generate rage, a stacking buff that gives potential attack bonuses and no longer has a downside. The Berserker skill would let you consume this rage for massive bonuses. A new aura and support gems. New aura and support gems will further enhance this melee playstyle. Okay. Blood and Sand. Early game monster rebalance. With all of the melee combat improvements, players can now dodge out of all the way of attacks easily. We've taken advantage of this by rebalancing monster attacks that used to have poor signaling to now have a wind up. This rebalance extends to improving monster AI and boss fights throughout the early campaign. Does that mean it's gonna be harder or is it gonna be easier? Like better signaling? Does that also mean it deals more damage then? I would hope so. If you now have all the tools in order to dodge out of the way of attacks easily, then you would assume that they can justifiably raise the damage that those attacks deal now? Okay, guys, this is the interesting part. I mean, it all is interesting, but alongside 14 new divination cards, Pathofexile Legion contains 12 new unique items for you to discover. In addition, we have chosen 15 existing unique items that are themed around Legion's 5 armies and have rebalanced them so they have become powerful rewards to find in the new league. Okay, Dark Dreams, Rare Elder Bone Helmet. 4 out of 4 set. No one ever truly understood what she meant when she said she wanted to raise a family. Interesting quote there. Nice flavor text, nice card. Alluring Bounty. 10 Exalted Orbs, 7 out of 7 cards. A treasure worth killing for is a treasure worth dying for. This will be super rare. Okuna's Will? Clasp Mitts. Raised zombies count as corpses? Raised zombie does not require a corpse? Wait, so you can consume your raised zombies with offering skills? Or you can use them to summon other things? Definitely low level. Equipable at 31. Massive boost to increased max life of the zombies. And zombies have like big flat values. I don't know. Interesting. Maw of Conquest. Steel Circlet. Crit chance for spells. Energy shield, max life, unaffected by poison. Damage taken gained as life over 4 seconds when hit. 13% of damage taken gained as life. That's probably up to 15. That could work for like some blood magic, low life sort of stuff. Unaffected by poison. Probably like some low life without shafts kind of shenanigans. Young Napuatsi was thrown into the pits, an unwilling sacrifice, but the offer of her blood was refused. She rose from the pit alive and anew, a leader, a conqueror, a viper. Okay. Now let's see what we got for Valls Protector, guys. Inner Conviction. Gotta love it when GGG does that. They're just like throwing this information out there. There is a new keystone passive that's called Inner Conviction, but we won't tell you what it does. There's a new keystone passive called Inner Conviction. Well, it's still Valls Protector, it just has inner conviction now. Nice debate. Lavianga's Wisdom now has 70 flat life and 70 flat mana. Wow. It seems to be also better in terms of fist damage. What? Let's see. Lavianga's Wisdom. Yeah, significantly more fist damage, significantly more life and mana. And AoE and AoE damage is also buffed higher. The downside of the 5% reduced movement speed remains. But yeah, if this is equipable at level 20, 70 life, 70 mana is pretty tasty. And then this is Wrathpith Globe. Wrathpith Globe is a spell block shield that is actually kind of nice. But what did they do to it? Okay. Wrathpith Globe now has a new line that says sacrifice 4% of your life when you use or trigger a spell skill. And that's a downside. And on top of that, it gives you crit chance for spells per 100 max life and spell damage per 100 max life. So like, basically, the 50th part of your max life you get as crit chance for spells and spell damage. So at like 5,000 life, you'll get 100% crit chance for spells and 100% spell damage. I don't know whether I like this. Because you're also sacrificing quite a bit of your life. Like you're sacrificing 200 life every time you trigger a spell. And sacrificing doesn't count as dealing damage. So you can't trigger cast with damage taken or anything with it. But, I mean, it's still a good spell block shield. But it used to have 30% lightning res. I'm missing the resist. %25% lightning resist, yeah. I mean, it gained a really strong defensive upside, but sacrificing your life... I don't like that. It's definitely not good for rapid casting. More like for impactful things, like things that you cast once every now and then, right? And the Legion supporter packs. 2 sets of supporter packs alongside Legion. Cult of Darkness and Blood Knight packs. 2 price points available for each, and they feature masses of points alongside the armor sets. Can you buy the packs right now? So you can instantly buy them. Cult of Darkness. Cult of Apocalypse. I like how she's wearing a tabula. It's so cute. Blood Knight supporter. The Blood Knight wings look pretty cool. Not the most ugly set. Wait, we need to write music. We need the official music. Give me a second here. The weapon trail is a little bit too strong in my opinion. But it looks juicy. Clips through the wings though. Every MMO has a fascination with wings. Wings are just a sign of power and they make your character look bigger than it really is. I didn't like wings when I started either. It's like when you ran around with wings for a while, then it just makes your character feel bigger, like wider shoulders and like just this guy. You know, that's how it feels. But we're gonna watch the Cult of Apocalypse thing as well. Ooh, I like the lighting on this scene that they this is in the tower in Act 5. This weapon effect looks really kick-ass. That's awesome. That animation is really cool. Like how the thing runs up and slides. What is it? Is it like a big feral cat? Awesome. I have to see it once more. It's so cool how he like slides. Rip wallet, yeah. Both really nice packs in comparison to the butterfly packs, yeah. This one looks really good. This is potentially also very, very well combinable with other things. Good shit. Booby packs? Booby supporter pack? Where's boobies? Oh, these boobies. Yeah, the red one's pretty cool. We checked them both out. Is there anything we missed? June 7th on PC. Let's quickly check that in the calendar here. So 7th. So wait, so now it's Tuesday night, right? Then there's this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. On Saturday we're gonna try and have a Fated Connections. I have nothing confirmed yet, but Saturday is kind of Fated Connections, right? If we don't do it here, then we do it here. Or somewhere during the week. New box is called Carnage Box? Yeah, there is a Carnage Box. Ziggy Day video. Yeah, true, there's a Ziggy D video as usual, and the entire press true shit. That's what we're gonna do in a second. I'm just trying to schedule right now, so... Ziggy Legion. Reveal and overview. Bay class. Wait. Oh wait, that Bay class is already finished. Wait, that just... Okay, I see. So we're gonna just watch that? That's 1.5 hours. I'm gonna watch this.
G'day, I'm Ziggy D, and welcome to my reveal of Pathofixile's 3.7 expansion, Legion.
In the heat of battle, a single moment
Let's see.
may fill an eternity.
Pathofixile's history is one filled with war and bloodshed. In Legion, we'll discover armies of Rayclass' 5 greatest generals locked in eternal battle inside of the domain of timeless conflict. In classic Exile fashion, we'll be intervening in these battles to satisfy our unceasing lust for carnage and loot. Legion will also be getting us ready for battle with the biggest overhaul to melee combat to date. I'll be covering all of this and more in this reveal video, so strap in because it's a big one. Legion is unashamedly GGG's fresh take on one of the community's all-time favorite leagues, Breach. In each area, we'll find a monolith, which upon activating will reveal 2 armies frozen right in the midst of battle. There's a short time after activating where we can shatter the bonds of time, locking them in place. And when the initial timer expires, the armies will disappear and all freed soldiers will unfreeze and continue their battle, which we will then be caught in the middle of. The idea here is a simple one that should prove effective. Hit the monolith and free as many enemies as possible. Of course, if we free too many to handle, we may be overwhelmed, so there's a solid element of player agency in determining the level of risk versus reward that we take on. Some special enemies will have symbols over their heads for bonus rewards that they'll drop on death, and there'll also be special chests containing additional loot that we can tag. With a limited time window, players will have to scout out and free as many desired rewards as possible. Legion monsters can also drop splinters which will combine to form emblems representing their legion. This is a familiar concept to fans of Breach, and these emblems give us access to the endgame of Legion, entering the domain.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Emblems from different legions can be placed together within the map device to open the domain where these armies engage in fierce battle. We'll be able to hunt down special loot enemies and chests as well as fight the generals of the legions. Of course, placing 2 emblems together, such as the Templar and the Vaal, will open a domain where these 2 legions will be in the middle.
Dude, Cyclone looks so cool and so huge! What the fuck is that? 0 DPS Cyclone, yeah, but life gain on hit.
But, as you may have guessed, a more dangerous battle with more valuable rewards can be found by placing 3 or even 4 emblems together to access a 3 or 4-way battle. But wait, there is indeed more. Through a certain unknown challenge, we'll be able to, for the first time ever, unlock a 5-slot map device. This will, of course, allow us to take on the ultimate endgame of Legion, a battle between all 5 of the legions at once.
Free for all!
The 5-slot map device will also allow players to further modify regular maps with up to 4 fragments or scarabs for more juicy regular endgame content.
Yeah, that's worth noting, Weissenberg, that Cyclone is a channeled skill now, so League Starter...
In addition to the varied rewards dropped by special monsters in the League...
Cast while channeling Cyclone Arc Trickster. Oh. Cyclone cast while channeling Arc Trickster. Fakener.
There will, of course, also be a selection of new and revamped uniques, themed after each of the legions. The first example I have here today is Akuna's Will, which seems to come from the Maraketh.
Oh, so it is Akunas. Akunas, not Okunas. I would say it's Okunas because it's like, oh, like AU is like Auckland, right? Or Anyway.
These gloves allow you to raise zombies without needing corpses, and it makes it so that your zombies count as corpses. The potential here is rather exciting as it means you can use skills such as Detonate Dead or Body Swap on your zombies. However, beware of enemies or strongboxes that can detonate corpses, which may well turn this mechanic against you. GGG has also taken a new approach here to revamping some of the less used and weaker unique items by actually removing them from the regular drop pool, giving them some new features and adding them as a drop to the legions. Valls Protector is an example of one such unique which will now be likely available through the Templar Legion. A new keystone passive, Inner Conviction, has been added to the item. This keystone passive causes you to gain power charges instead of frenzy charges, and gives your power charges an added spell damage bonus.
Oh, wait. Okay. Power charges instead of frenzy charges and gives power charges a bonus?
Giving them some new features and adding them as a drop to the legions. Valls Protector is an example of one such unique which will now be likely available through the Templar Legion. A new keystone passive, Inner Conviction, has been added to the item.
Inner Conviction is a new keystone passive, so that's confirmed, just like we assumed Inner Conviction is a new keystone passive.
This keystone passive causes you to gain power charges instead of frenzy charges, and gives your power charges an added spell damage bonus.
So you get added spell damage per power charge, and instead of generating frenzy charges with whatever frenzy charge generation you have, say Ice Bite, say Cold Snap, say Blood Rage, you name it, it will instead then generate power charges. So you're basically killing your frenzy charge generation.
Legion is not stopping there though. With Incubation Items, get ready to hatch some eggs containing even more loot. Incubation Items are a new type of currency that modify a piece of gear with a kill counter, which when reached will pop out a guaranteed item. You can have multiple items incubating at once, basically as many as you have items equipped.
So yeah, you can only do one per item. And I'm not sure whether I like that. That's probably gonna be the part about the league that people don't like. And then again, is that character bound though? Or is it then really on the item, or can you vendor, like, can you trade it away with the counter? That would be interesting.
There are different type of incubations, like this Blacksmith Incubator, which drops a random unique weapon when you've killed 2,000 monsters. This system kind of came out of nowhere, but it seems to be GGG experimenting with some alternative ways of getting somewhat deterministic loot. Also, the idea of incubating little loot eggs is kind of cute. I'm personally ready to experiment with becoming a mama bird. The Legion loot that I'm most excited for, however, is the new game-changing jewels that will also be available from the higher end of Legion content. Each of the 5 Legions has a unique jewel, and these will modify the passive tree in a rather spectacular fashion. The Valls Legion jewel, for example.
Okay, so this is where the whole thing is explained that we didn't understand in just a second ago, right? When we were here in the Legion announcement, it said Legion jewels, and this glorious vanity, timeless jewels' passives and radius are conquered by the vow. And it says it's historic, and it says it bathed in the blood of so and so many sacrificed in the name of Doriani, which all 3 of those lines don't make any sense whatsoever if you don't know what the mechanic is. So maybe Ziggy can explain that a little bit?
Corrupts the passives within its radius, completely changing what they do. This even includes keystones, which can become corrupted keystones. Even more exciting is that these jewels are different every time, dropping with different seeds that change the passives in different ways. So 2 Valls jewels will give different corruptions to the same passives. This to me seems like such a game changer. I personally love the design of the Elder Jewels Watcher's Eyes. With their huge variety and potentially ridiculous combos, it's always exciting to identify one. The design of these Legion jewels seems to follow that concept and is taking it to crazy levels since it's going to add a whole new level of build customization. Chris
Yeah, that's a super cool new layer.
also mentioned to me that the seed of the jewel will be identifiable through the jewel's flavor text, which will mean that the community can explore these jewels together and, of course, trade them. We don't even know yet what the other Legion jewels will do, but I'm already super excited about the Valls Legion jewels alone. But that's enough about loot for now. Let's talk about the other massive set of changes coming to the Legion expansion, the complete melee revamp. Most importantly here, GGG has improved the melee experience at the fundamental level with changes to the core gameplay mechanics. Chris Wilson said that melee has been described by players as clunky, especially at the early stages of the game, and they wanted to address most of these core issues with melee in one go. So let's go through what that means.
I definitely think that attack animation canceling is the right thing, right? Because that's, as someone who came from League of Legends to Pathofexile, that's something I've always missed. It always felt wrong that you couldn't cancel attack animations.
There's a lot going on here, so get ready. Firstly, you can now cancel attack animations. You are free to do this right after damage has been dealt, or before if you change your mind and need to avoid an incoming attack. This change alone is designed to make melee combat feel much more responsive, and will afford us better control.
So you won't ever lock yourself into place awkwardly anymore, like killing yourself because you did one attack too many. That's super cool, guys. I didn't even think about that aspect of attack animation canceling. You can cancel the attack at any point after you issue the command and the character started the animation. You can cancel it at any point. That's huge.
And a need to avoid an incoming attack. This change alone is designed to make melee combat feel much more responsive and will afford us better control over our characters, though I do imagine it may take some getting used to. This change in particular is tied in with all movement skills now having instant activation, which means you can animation cancel a slow attack that would have locked you in place with a movement skill to avoid an incoming attack. Additionally, a selection of new low-level movement skills have been added to help many classes in the early game, such as Dash, this quick dodging dexterity skill. As a personal note, I have to imagine that these combined changes alone will have a pretty big impact on the responsiveness of combat, and will likely see a rather large increase in the skill ceiling, which is exciting in the context of PoE racing and speed leveling. There is more though. All melee attacks can now hit multiple adjacent enemies with a small melee splash style effect.
So there's two things that I want to quickly say. First of all, yeah, I'm super excited about the skill ceiling being higher, and especially racing. Melee was for a long time the way to speedrun the game. I think before the trap rework in Incursion 3.3. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Melee returning to that, master race of racing class. I don't mind spells being fast and viable, but I think Melee should be the prize winner there. I don't know. Ideally, obviously, we get balance. But another thing I wanted to say is, like Moto pointed out, what if you attack 10 times a second? I don't think that we'll see all that many super fast attack builds anymore, possibly. Because it will feel much better to attack slower now than it did before. Like, the reason why you wanted such fast attack speed is because you wanted responsiveness. You didn't want to be locked in place for too long in order to squeeze in another attack. But now that you're not locked in place, I think that opens up the entire meta for slower attacking builds. Like, something that they wanted to do back then when they introduced skills like Ice Crash and Earthquake, which were obviously designed to go slower. Ice Crash failed terribly. People were just still stacking attack speed on it. And Earthquake, I think, was good for a while, and then when the AoE nerfs came, Earthquake was just gutted so hard that it didn't feel good enough anymore. But yeah, Earthquake always with that aftershock that came after a certain delay that didn't stack until it went out. That always encouraged a little bit slower play. And now, I mean, it will probably be better in the mindset, just from the point of view of the player, to play a slower attacking build, because it won't necessarily feel that much weaker than a 10 times faster attacking build.
This should improve the early game for a lot of skills, as well as making it easier to connect with desired targets if there are several monsters in the area.
And yeah, melee splash for all abilities, that's perfect. I'm wondering what they're going to do with the melee splash support gem itself then.
Timing of when damage is dealt relative to animations has been improved as well, along with fixed ranged indications for all attacks in the game. I think this clip of a two-handed heavy strike on Duresso communicates it pretty well how much more accurate the blows look and feel. The animation system overall has been overhauled too, with support for animation chaining and dynamic speed changes. This should all help the combat look and feel better and more accurate. Melee targeting has also been improved, with the game now automatically retargeting a new monster near your cursor if you kill your current target but are still holding down the attack button. This should make it so that spam clicking isn't necessary to ensure that you have a target when attacking with melee skills. Various other systems have been changed as well, which will likely be further detailed in the coming weeks. Accuracy, for example, is no longer capped at 95%, so that you can reach 100% accuracy without needing resolute technique.
Accuracy gets the crit chance treatment. You can get 100% accuracy just by stacking accuracy, which is huge. I'm not sure whether that closes the gap between hits can't be evaded and accuracy scaling, because it's still so much easier to just put on like Lycosida or the Craft or be champion. But, you know, I'm willing to see where this will lead us.
And of course, this expansion also contains an end-to-end rebalance to melee attacks in a similar fashion to how the last expansion went over spells.
Man, Cyclone is so beautiful!
Some very anticipated reworks for some of the skills like Cyclone, which is now a channeled skill. With all of the improvements to melee gameplay and with players having much better control over their characters, GGG has also decided to work on the opposite side of things as well, the enemies. These improvements have been especially focused on some of the slow and somewhat dated early game content. The changes are rather expansive, including improved monster AI, new monster skills, better boss fights, and more polish generally to the early areas that GGG says will bring them up to a 2019 standard. You can see some of this improvement already in the improved early boss fights. Expect to see monsters perform much more signaled attacks, and with the improvements on the player side of things, skilled movement, positioning, and dodging is now much more possible as a result. You can see a much more noticeable wind-up on skills and even the melee attacks of bosses. Many of the early boss fights have also been made generally more intense and exciting with new skills and more dangerous attacks. Kaduku item crafting rituals are about to become a whole lot more intense. Endgame has not been forgotten as well, with many bosses and Atlas maps reworked. This includes the Sunken City boss, the Gardens boss fight, and finally an improved Coward's Trial unique map. Mostly we're seeing improved boss fights with more monster spawns, abilities, and some pathing and layout improvements.
Rework Coward's Trial, boys.
Legion also includes 2 new melee-focused build archetypes that group some of the new skills and mechanics. The Rage Berserker and the Blood and Sand Gladiator. While Berserker and Gladiator most closely align to these new archetypes, many of the new skills and tools are available for other builds to use as well. The Blood and Sand archetype features a new stance mechanic, which allows you to reserve some mana to enter either blood or sand stances, which you can change between at will. Blood stance is focused on up-close damage for tougher enemies, and Sand is focused on area killing and speed. Blade Storm is a new melee skill that slashes enemies around you and creates a blood storm or a sandstorm depending on what stance you're in. Some old skills like Lacerate will also interact with the new stances. These additions also come alongside a rework to the Gladiator Ascendancy. The second new archetype is the Rage Berserker. Berserker and the Rage mechanic have been overhauled in Legion, with Rage no longer draining life by default. The Berserker will, however, have a mechanic that restores the health draining effect in order to gain increased power. Rage now also interacts with several of the new and revamped skills. The new skill Chain Strike is a movement attack that pulls you to enemies, damaging them and generating rage. Move over Flicker Strike, Brutus boys are coming through. There will also be a new skill called Berserk that rapidly consumes rage to give you more damage, attack speed, and movement speed, and less damage.
That's so stupid. Like these, you know, fragile skeletons that are standing there, like, and falling over just if you look at them, right? And you can now throw out the hook and pull yourself to the skeleton, as opposed to throwing out the hook and pulling the skeleton to the ground. That's such a joke.
Damage taken. The Berserker Ascendancy will be featuring reworked bonuses that interact with both Rage and the Berserk skill.
I mean, I really like the grappling hook though, like this Brutus feeling. I think people always wanted to have that.
This is only a basic overview of some of the new skills and archetypes coming in Legion, with more details to come over the next few weeks. Now that's what I have for now as far as new reveals go, so I wanted to share some of my initial thoughts. In the shadow of the complexity of some of the recent leagues, a straightforward combat-oriented league mechanic is what a lot of players have been asking for. Legion looks like it'll fit the bill, and modeling it after Breach is a promising idea, of course. Legion could well prove to be a better Breach with the player agency over how much challenge we take on in each encounter. Breach had the issue where you would sometimes get empty breaches, and other times you'd be overwhelmed by a crazy breach full of Tull Frostbladers. Legion's design of giving us control over how many monsters we fight could well be a real winner. Only time will tell how good it feels to actually play, of course, but Legion does win a lot of points with me personally, thanks to its reward structure. Build-changing, unique design and jewels that follow high-variance, high-impact design of the Watcher's Eye jewels are an exciting thing to chase after, I think. And the idea of getting in the middle of 4 or 5-way battles is quite an exciting premise to me. It's always been one of my favorite things in games when you come across NPCs duking it out. The melee changes look to be exceeding my personal expectations of what we'd be getting as well. I did expect new skills and reworks, maybe with some improvements to animations and such, but things like animation cancelling, instant move skills, and targeting changes are a real game changer for the game. I think there is some potential here that some of these changes may introduce new problems that we have to deal with, like players accidentally cancelling attacks when they didn't mean to, but this may just require an adjustment period. The potential for these changes greatly increasing the skill ceiling of racing and competitive play is just very exciting to me, especially since the competitive scene has really been ramping up of late. This is just honestly way more than I expected personally when GGG said they'd be doing a simpler league mechanic and expansion, especially since so much work is happening on 4.0 and ExileCon at the moment. But that's enough from me. I'm curious what you guys think. Does this take on the Breach style get you amped? Is this what you were hoping for with Melee? Please feel free to leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below, and I'll answer what I can and make some follow-up videos if I can as well. I'm looking forward to spending the entire reveal day going over your comments and reactions. It's almost become a bit of a ritual for me at this point. It's one of my favorite things about doing what I do is soaking up those initial reactions. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. I'll see you in Legion. I'm Ziggy D, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for another excellent Ziggy D video. So let's see what else we got here on that page. Definitely looks super good. Yep. I'm more hyped now that I watched the Ziggy D video. They're really trying to recreate the Breach hype. They want to have that success. They're chasing it. That one league that was, for so many people, the biggest and best league, Breach League. I think Legion really looks like a better attempt at recreating that than Incursion. Although I personally really liked Incursion, but Legion is probably gonna be more something for the people who like Breach. Because I was never like a super Breach fan. Obviously it was a very good league, but yeah, I guess we're gonna have to watch this then. But this is 1.5 hours, so probably gonna do that off stream. Wandering Wayclast. Blah 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 blah. There's probably nothing that we haven't seen yet. Okay, this is all the stuff that they use in the video anyway. Yeah, you could alt Modo, but it would be against terms of service. You're not allowed to bind two actions to one, like two server-side actions to one client-side button press. I definitely like that you get the built-in melee splash like you have in Last Epoch, right? In Last Epoch you also have every melee attack, even the basic attack, hits not just the main target but also hits things on the side for a lower value. I like that. Is he using Glacial Hammer, guys? Is he using Glacial Hammer? I'm also not sure whether it's a good idea to put your attack skills onto the left mouse button. I'm a big advocate of having move only on your left mouse button. I don't know, I'm not sure about this stuff. But yeah, let's also not talk about the support gems that they're using here. It looks buttery smooth. They're using a really good computer to program to record these videos. The game just runs so smooth. This is really where the global illumination feature shines. This looks so good. This makes me want to play with global illumination again. Improved AI of the monsters, added new skills to the fights, improved on the boss fights. Started polishing the beginning of the game to meet a 2019 standard, okay? Okay. Yeah, this jewel stuff looks insane. This will be really interesting, but it also will be very, you need to explore it. Boss fights have been improved in about 8 of the maps. About 8 of the maps. Okay. Other maps gotten improvements with things like pathing. Just maybe we'll get the 5-slot map device making it into the core game, okay? Or maybe there will be like some sort of orb or currency eventually, which we can put in there and then connect maps. Synthesis isn't getting rolled into the core game. People will definitely see a synthesis thing at some point in the future. Wow, what a commitment. A synthesis thing at some point in the future. Wow. Okay, wait, there's some screenshots here. Timeless Marrakech emblem. Wait, where can we? Ah, here. Okay, some of the screenshots we've already seen. So, fervor is turned into flesh worship with that jewel. Well, it makes sense. I mean, if you can't get frenzy charges anymore because you're using that thing that gives you power charges instead. I'm still trying to find out, though, why the passive tree is connected in the way it is here. What is this, guys? What is this madness? Someone tried to construct something well connected here. Path of vagueness. Path of pathing. This looks glorious. This looks really good. Massively OP podcast. Oh, I need to get onto the podcast, guys. Massively OP. We'll probably have to gain some weight first. What else do we have? Gamepedia. Yeah, I mean, it's always just the same information in different flavors, usually. But sometimes there's like little sprinkles here, little sprinkles there. I asked Wilson the simple question of why? Why give out loot that can turn into loot later instead of just giving out the end loot in the first place? By deferring the item drop and making the player work for it, we get to drop a better item than we otherwise would. We're very concerned about power creep. Aha. Equipable items. This is way too bright, guys. Like, how can you make a white website in 2019? I just make it smaller. My eyes don't die. Okay. The Val gem he showed me randomly changes the named skills in your passive tree, while one from another army turns off the small passive skills while doubling the big ones. That sounds like a, what is it, Might of the Meek or something, right? Given their wide-ranging effects, Wilson sees these jewels as aspirational content for endgame players. You don't just get them handed out like candy, they're also limited to just one per build. Crazy jewels are going to be the loot people remember from Legion. More so than item incubators or new uniques. Well, that doesn't come as a surprise. Clunky is how Wilson said many players describe melee combat, and changing that was no simple task. Basically took melee combat out of the game and put it back in properly with a lot of improvements. Sounds like at a point you'll have to choose a side in the 5 armies? No, I don't think so. I mean, you can only use one jewel, but that doesn't mean that you align with that army then just because you use their jewel. See, the thing is that the legions exist outside of the player, like they're ancient legions, right? They've been fighting for eternity, right? They already forgot why they fight. They're just fighting each other because they hate each other so much. No, I don't think you have to side with any of them. You're just gonna exploit them. Instant triggering movement skills for all classes. AoE damage for all melee attacks. Blah 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 blah. Improved targeting so you don't have to individual click on each target. Spent 3 months changing everything to do with melee. The changes were initially planned to be released in 4.0, but it was ready now. Why stall it for a year? Just for marketing reasons? I mean, I'm pretty sure they're stalling a lot for a year for marketing reasons, so I don't think that that's a good reason. Like, I mean, I'm very sure that there's a lot of things that are already done for 4.0 that are being stalled just for marketing reasons. Very sure. I mean, maybe not just for marketing reasons, also because it thematically makes sense, but yeah. Because melee is better now, Wilson said the beginning areas felt too easy. Areas got reworked, bosses having more visible tells. I'm pretty sure they also made the bosses harder, because everywhere it just says that the bosses have more visible tells and that it's all more straightforward to play. But yeah, there were 8 or 9 maps that had issues with layouts and boss fights that needed attention. Okay, 8 or 9 maps had issues with layouts and boss fights that needed attention. Yeah, sounds really good. Christmas and summertime. This was MMO Bomb. Okay, let's check out GameSpur, I guess. You're annoying. What? You fucking kidding me? And then you get a fucking pop-up? Are you serious? And you can't click it away? And then they wonder why people use ad blockers on their page. Totally related movie trailer here. Yeah, sorry, thanks, Game Poor. Gay Poor. I don't know why I said that. My brain is sometimes still stuck in the 90s. Okay, here archetypes are explained here a little bit, I think. Blood Stance is ideal for dealing damage to close enemies, and Sand Stance is defensive and boasts a larger AoE. The Rage Berserker. Rage increases attack damage, move speed, and can stack up to 50. It no longer drains life over time, but you can restore that effect for even more power. So I guess Rage is just in the game now, and then Berserker can tap into the Rage and get more power for draining life over time. I assume. Interesting. Good. That was PC Games N. And then... where's the other one? RPS. Dude, why are they all so white? Stupid white pages. It's just such a pain to hand pick information out of these. I don't think there's anything special here. This looks like just a really small article. I've also removed the 95% accuracy cap, so it's possible with high enough dexterity to avoid critical misses. Okay. And they can't even spell the name of the item. They can't even copy paste the name of... Oh god. They can't even fucking copy paste or like type out the name of the item from the screen. It's called Okuna and then they write Onkuna. On your phone, dark mode on, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, I can do this, but then the images are inverted. This is terrible. Okay. Is there another one? Oh, that's a massively OP. How is it always closing? What do I do always? Let's close all of these. Back to main site. Home news. Read more. And then RP Gamer, I guess. Oh god. Oh, this is pleasant. I mean, this is white, but at least it has like a proper dark-ish background. I don't like the transition from brownish to grayish. I would have preferred like a darker brown, or it's like the same. The gradient is questionable, but I mean, it's a lot better on the eye. I wonder how much this accuracy thing is gonna help. Can't evade hits is insanely strong. Yeah, I also can't see how just removing the accuracy cap is gonna fix that, because it's obviously still far easier to just plug in like Hosida or like the Mastercraft or anything. I'm actually not really convinced that that's gonna do it, but I mean, because accuracy is such a huge investment. I think previously the problem wasn't that you couldn't get hit capped with accuracy or crit capped. I mean, it was one of the problems that, yeah, but the bigger problem was that it took so much investment. The Mastercraft is super hard to find, yeah, but you don't have to find it yourself, you can buy it from someone else. Is there anything here? I don't think there's any new information. Yay. 5 slots. RP Gamer, Newsweek. Respect your privacy, great. Official trailer and commentary. And official trailer and commentary twice. That's incredibly good design. Let's first go back here. Which one was it? Newsweek? Yeah. Yeah, the item that the other news page wasn't able to spell correctly. Yeah, there's not all that much information here. So this was Newsweek, pure PlayStation. Honestly, this is more like a feedback session about how readable the layouts are. Yeah, this is all pretty poogers, guys. What is this? This is just like one paragraph and the trailer. Oh, okay, no, that's like they link to sub-pages. Okay, let's see. This looks promising, guys. This could be it. Okay, so here's the combat video that we've seen. Five-slot map device, blah 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 blah. It's going to be a problem if the challenge doesn't lead to anything rewarding. Then they go into incubation as a reward. Then they show 2 items that we've seen 20 times already. Okay. Yeah, they just explain the Val Jewel changes that we've seen on the screenshot. I mean, at least they write something. This is pretty good so far. Thousands of possible results. Okay. That's pretty cool, guys. A battle occurred in year X, or like so many blood sacrifices on the Val Jewel. And that's the seed number for the jewel. And each jewel can have, yeah, completely different effects. That's pretty cool. And there's an actual bullet point list with improvements for melee combat. That's pretty cool as well. I like this webpage. PC Invasion. So far the best of all of these. Gamepedia was okay, I guess. Right? Cameron Koch. But I'm really a fan of this PC Invasion. But they also don't have that much more information here. Coward's Trial. Oh, Graveyard Boss, guys. Have we seen this before? So it's an entirely new mechanic then? I mean, it's the same triple boss as there is now on Graveyard. But there's like, they seem to be linked with a tether to the middle. And I don't know what exactly that means. Are golem builds a thing? Yes. There's golem summoners. Oh, and that's the best color scheme so far. MMORPG, guys. Look at this page. Beautiful. Other pretty cool additions. Blood and Sand, Rage Berserker, Monster Rebalancing, Map Improvements, South Korean launch with Kakao Games. Nice! Okay. I think we're done with this. Well, seems good and feels amazing, man.